welcome to Inside Hilltopper Athletics. I am Todd Allum. Joining me for this first segment is head coach Roger Wiley. Coach, welcome back to the show.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Big week this past week for the Toppers. Get their second victory in a row. They win 35-11 down at West Virginia Wesleyan. A big game for Hunter Patterson. It kind of seemed like the Hunter Patterson show in this one.
Yeah, we were able to do some things to get him isolated in the second level, and a lot of it, credit goes to him and the offensive line, and a lot of things, people don't realize that. Like his first long run, we had actually called ISO. He looked up and said, "Hey, we might be better off going outside zone," and he checked to it. And so, that was good to see that he was able to look up and say, "Well, we better not run it inside. We're kind of outnumbered," and got some key blocks, made a couple key moves, and then he was off to the races.
Hunter Patterson in this one had a 247 yards, 3 touchdowns on 17 carries. Coach was talking about the 84-yard touchdown score in the second quarter. The defense played pretty well in this one as well. It seemed like they came together. Wesleyan got a late touchdown in this one, but the defense seemed to do their job throughout.
Yeah, we were able to – they did get some yardage, but we were able to hold them out of the end zone, for the most part until the end of the game. But, that was probably overall good team effort by, we were getting pressure on the quarterback, not necessarily a whole lot of sacks. I thought we had a good game plan because they were going to run some option and some things, and we were able to stuff it early that made them get out of what they wanted to do. But they still had a couple good drives where they ran the ball fairly well. And then, on their touchdown drive, he threw 2 passes, and we had them covered. The receiver just made great plays on them.
This week was the second start in a row for Antavius Jackson. He got a second win as well. Talk about his performance.
He seems to be getting better. And, I know he was frustrated kind of with his performance. We didn't throw the ball as well as we wanted to, but in the same sense, we ran the ball probably better than. And going back to Hunter, the 243, one of the first plays of the game, he had like a 20-yard loss. And so, his actual yards gained was up there compared to what the total stats were. But, the same thing, he on the first drive he took off, had the 24-yard touchdown run to put us up 7-0. But in the same sense, he puts a lot of pressure on the defense because he can run and throw the football, and he's not afraid to take off and run. But we got to get a little more crisp in the passing game. And when I say crisp, the rhythm 3-step, rhythm 5-step things, we got to get the ball out of his hands and get him to the receivers. Because we do have some electrifying receivers that we'd like to get the ball to. So, overall, if he was grading himself, he'd probably give himself a C or a D. A big thing for me, no turnovers. Yeah. And, even though they got the safety, he fumbled the ball, he was able to recover it in the end zone, opposed to it being 6 points. It was 2 points, and you're able to overcome that at times. But, big thing what he needs to learn, okay, he gets outside of the pocket, sometimes it's okay just to throw the ball in the stands. Mm-hmm. And so I think he puts too much pressure on himself to extend plays and make things happen. There's times where just throw it away, we'll come back and play again.
We talked about the yardage on the ground that Hunter Patterson gained. No running back really does that on their own. The offensive line helped out quite a bit. What did you think of that 5-man front?
Well, really, really good. Once I think that Coach Konopka got on the phones and said, "Hey, maybe we'll jump into Wildcat just for one play or a series just to get the O-lineman off the ball," because we weren't really coming off the ball like we normally do. And then again, we were playing without Isaac Tavo. Who's one of the best offensive linemen in the country. And so, I thought McBride came in and did a great job. You didn't notice him at left tackle, put it that way. And so, that gives us added confidence that, if something does go down, we do have some depth there that we can move people around. But, overall, when you run for that many yards, your offensive line has to be doing something.
Yeah. So good on them. The defense, everybody came in and did a great job defensively for the Toppers. Nolan Shimp had 6 tackles. Breandre Horsley had 5 tackles and a sack. Coy had the interception and 2 tackles. 2 weeks in a row, big men for the Toppers getting interceptions. Not too shabby.
No, Corey's a weak safety.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm thinking.
Yeah,
My bad.
No, you have me confused there. And actually, he had a pick that was called back, and that first they called pass interference, but it was a deflected ball, and then they changed it from pass interference to holding. But no, he's proven that he has the capability of making some bigger plays back there. So, we got to hope that he can just continue that consistency throughout the rest of the season, because, that's the one thing in this conference, you're going to see a lot of good quarterbacks.
Well, the Toppers, again, not only did Hunter Patterson get the 247 yards and just amazing game in this one, you also got co-offensive player of the week in the Mountain East Conference. Great for Hunter Patterson. That's 2 weeks in a row that somebody from, 2 out of the last 3 weeks the Toppers had a bye, but the last 2 weeks the Toppers have played, they've had Mountain East Conference Offensive Players of the Week between Jackson and now Patterson. It really seems like the offensive side of the ball is coming together at this point of the year.
Yeah, and like I said, if we can fit in the pass game just a little bit better, we'll be hard to defend. But that's the one thing that was missing from Saturday, just the consistency. I'm not saying we didn't throw the ball at times, but, as a coach, you expect more consistency. But the biggest thing is no turnovers. And that's one thing that we've preached all year, but that's one thing that Tay has really bought into, is not just throwing it up for grabs or making sure. So he's cautious with the football, and that gives us the opportunity to win.
Well, the Toppers, again, got 2 wins in a row, 2 offensive players of the week in a row, but that's not the biggest highlight of this past week. The Toppers head coach also got his 100th career victory in this one. I know you're not big on these kind of things all the time, but a lot of people are very happy. You got your triple digits now in wins.
Yeah, some could say longevity, but, it's like I told my wife and kids, actually I've never won a game here. They say, how you say that? I said, I never played. And so, the players, we've had a lot of great players here over my tenure, and, I'm hoping that we can continue the success each week and get to 1-0. But it's a lot of work, but the players are the ones that are putting in the physical work. We put in the mental work, so to say. But, in coaching lingo, the coaches never win a game, but they sure lose a lot of them. So that's, one thing that I've kind of taken from heart, that, I was never going to blame the players for the loss and give them the credit for all the wins. So there's a lot of players out there that have a part of winning those 100 games.
Well, you talked about the players doing the physical work. They did it for you on Saturday as well. They were very happy for that 100th win. And you got Hunter Patterson and company helping out with giving you a little bit of a shower as we take a look here, giving the fans a view of the video. I'm not sure if you can see it, Coach, but we can see it on a little monitor over to the side. It's great to see the team celebrating like that with you and having some fun.
Yeah, the problem was it was shockingly cold. I think they put extra ice in there, and it kind of stunned me. It was almost like, what just happened? And, sometimes you expect it and you can, but it kind of just shocked me where I turned around. even, 15 minutes later, I'm changing out of wet clothes, and there's still ice cubes falling out of my shirt. So, it's good that they take pride in the program, and they do things like that. But, honestly, with all the coaches and all the players we've had here over the years, that's kind of a tribute to them, I would say, more than me.
Well, we've got homecoming coming up next for the Toppers this Saturday. It's not just a homecoming for alumni and the sorts. Also, we've got another couple former Hilltopper coaches coming to the Hilltop again. As Glenville's head coach Mike Keller, former offensive coordinator here at West Liberty. You know each other so well. These kind of games are kind of up for grab. Anybody's ball game, regardless of records or where anybody is in the standings. What do you see coming up for this homecoming game?
Well, we're going to have to play really good offensively and try. For our defense, we got to play good, meaning they got a quarterback that's a 4-year starter that throws it around really well. They've been running the ball effectively. They're big up front. The receivers make bundles and bundles of plays, so they're loaded offense. And you look at the defensive side of the ball, they've been able to stop some of the better offenses in our conference. They play an odd stack, which they play it the aggressive way where they're bringing guys, giving you different looks. So it's important that we decipher the fronts to know who we're going to block, win our one-on-one matchups. And so, the way to stop a great offense is to make sure that they're never on the field. And so, we have to eat time offensively. And we want to score. I mean, if we score quick, we score quick. But, we got to try to do something to keep them off the field. But we're going to continue to try to score and play fast offensively. And so, hopefully, in this conference, skill-wise, everybody's so evenly matched. It's in this more than any other year that I've been in the conference. I mean, we just played Wesleyan and did a good job, but they had some skilled kids that you look up and go, oh, my God. And so we have to play responsible, fundamental football, and it comes down to, up front, can we block their front, and can our defensive front make plays? That's what normally most football games come down to. We got to secure tackles on the crease. He's a big, strong kid. Yeah. And so there's a lot of times where they've gotten pressure and he just slaps their arms off them and, gets the ball off or takes off for 5 or 10 yards. So it's going to be a real test. Every week, and this week more than this is probably one of the better teams we'll face all year. Yep. But that can be said the truth to anybody on our schedule, So, we have to play responsible football, and we got to get her going offensively in order to have success against these guys.
Well, it's going to be a very fun homecoming game to watch. I know the folks at home watching, and then the folks here on campus for homecoming weekend will have a lot of fun watching this game. Again, a big thank you to our homecoming game sponsor, the Alpha Tavern. On October 24th, the West Liberty Alumni Homecoming Pre-Party. Happy hour starts 5, ends at 8 p.m. Entertainment at 9, and a prime rib dinner special on October 25th. Happy hour from 5 to 8, entertainment at 8:30, and another prime rib dinner special. And October 26th, the Topper Brunch at 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. Coach, again, good luck in this ball game. It's going to be a great one. Folks at home can watch on Topper Station and on YouTube, so get there and make sure you watch it. Coach, again, thank you for being here. Good luck. Folks, stick around. We've got more Inside Hilltopper Athletics coming up next.
From the long-lasting and reliable heating and cooling systems we send out the door, to the friendly and knowledgeable dealers who go the extra mile. With a no-hassle replacement limited warranty, you can trust day and night to deliver outstanding service and performance, keeping you a step ahead with advanced technology and exceptional comfort. To find a day and night dealer, visit dayandnightcomfort.com.
Welcome back to Inside Hilltopper Athletics, brought to you by Day and Night Heating and Cooling. I am Todd Allum, and with me on this segment, head coach of men's soccer at West Liberty University, Sean Regan. Sean, welcome back to the show.
Thanks, buddy.
Pretty good week for the Toppers this past week. 2 games since the last show. The first one you played against Davis and Elkins. The Toppers will get another win against D&E. Take us through this game. It was a 1-0 win.
Yeah, it's a big result. D&E's, I think they were 5th in the region at the time, knocking on the door for a kind of a top 25 bid, and obviously between them and Concord fighting for second place versus Charleston. So another huge upset. We were lucky to get a draw against them away when we played them at the very beginning of the year. But it was a much deserved win. They had probably the majority of the play for a good bit of the game, but became very back and forth, even flow. Jasper was able to score an absolute screamer, and then from then on out, it was just kind of holding on a little bit, and making things more secure in the back, which we did. And really the last 5 minutes, we weren't under too much pressure, so we were really pleased with that result for sure.
I was going to ask, how much was the team enjoying this one, knowing you tied last time and this time to get a victory against them? It seems like this team's confidence is really building.
Yeah, confidence is high. We're a funny team because we're beating the teams we shouldn't do, and then kind of losing or drawing against the teams we should beat. So it's an emotional roller coaster, which is giving me heart palpitations. But in a way, I'll take it the way it is.
And you kind of alluded to this earlier this year. Obviously, Charleston's one of the top-tier teams, not just in the conference but nationally. But everyone else behind them, it's really starting to kind of lump together,
Yeah.
where the disparity, the parity between the teams is kind of gone. Everybody is getting pretty good.
Yeah, I mean, there's 4 conference games remaining for pretty much everybody else. So we can finish as high as second, or we can finish last. I mean, it's that condensed with the last 4 games remaining that every point is massive. I mean? So, and there's not any easy teams in our conference, which is not good for us. Some of the other conferences, you can show up and you're going to win 2 games or 3 games, and then you might have 1 or 2 hard games. Where in our league, every single game is just tough. You just can't afford not to show up. For us, it's good and bad. I mean, we love the competition and how good it is, but at the same time, I'd really like some teams where I can know I'm going to go and get 6 points every year from.
Absolutely. So we talk about, again, these Mountain East Conference teams being so similar in their records and everything. Frostburg State's one of those teams as well. That was the second game this past week. Frostburg's a team that was able to take Charleston to the brink and almost get a victory against them.
Yeah, Frostburg's good. I mean, we played them in the playoffs last year and lost to them and split in the regular season. This year, for some reason, they were voted last in the conference, which is mind-boggling because I voted them 4th. You know what I mean? I knew they were going to be good, coming from Maryland, traditionally All-American kids, and Maryland's one of the top 5 soccer states in the country. So they're always very, very good. Down at their place, we didn't get off the bus. They absolutely smashed us 4-1. Just didn't show up, but it was kind of polar opposite. On the weekend, we lost 2-1, and we were the better team. And it was very, very hard to take, because it's twice now against Point Park away, against Frostburg here at home. It sucks when you're the better team and you lose, and that happened to us. So it was just kind of like just a little bit of our lack of goal scoring is kind of letting us down a little bit. So the way we're feeling right now is that we are getting better, but we're not getting the results against who we should do. The team's kind of around us, so we're making our job a little bit difficult for ourselves. So going forward, tonight against Wesleyan's a must-win game. We're 4 points ahead. We win, we go 7. We lose, they're just 1 point behind us. So that's the fine margins between scoring a goal, keeping a clean sheet, beating a team, or getting a draw against them is what propels you up and down the table. So, we're dropping some games where I think we should have got some points, but at the same time, we're sneaking some games where maybe we weren't expected to get points as well.
When you talk about that can kind of sometimes breed a little bit of frustration, but every once in a while, Coach can see it as good frustration where teams say, we're tired of this. We're angry. This is a game, like you said, tonight against West Virginia Wesleyan. You're traveling down to Buchanan. That a team says to themselves, we're tired of this. We know it's a big game. We're just going to play. We don't care who it is. And a lot of times you get victories that way. Is that what you're looking for tonight?
Yeah, tonight it's going to be a real tough game because they play on grass. They're the only team that plays on grass, and with the rain and all that stuff like that, it's going to be very difficult. So we've been playing very attractive soccer lately. Like to keep the ball on the ground, pass and move. We're not going to be able to do that. So tonight is just going to be all about heart, hustle, and being hard. And so that's the winner-take-all mentality that we have to go down there and prove to them. We beat them comfortably at home, 4-0. I don't anticipate it being anywhere near that this time. They get some results at home because of their surface, and they've gotten a few decent results since the last time we played them. So they're a very emotional team. They live and die by their emotions. So if you go a goal up, we'll win. If we go a goal down, it's going to be very, very tough to get back.
Well, hopefully things go well for the Toppers on this trip. The football team just went down there and got a victory. Hopefully we can see some similar things happen for the Toppers in men's soccer. As you said, we're getting down to the nitty-gritty when it comes to conference play. Are you happy with where the team is at, where you thought they would be at this point in the year before the season began and where they actually are right now in reality? Are you happy with where they're at?
Yeah, we're probably disappointed that we could have had a few more results, but at the end of the day, when you're looking at the overall aspect of it, our goal is always just to get into the playoffs, based on the other teams. And it really doesn't matter if we finish 3rd, 4th, 5th, or 6th. To be honest with you, we're going to play against the same teams that we've already played twice in the year and got mixed results with. So I think in a way, you almost want to finish third or sixth, because if you do, then you avoid Charleston in the semifinal. So you kind of have maybe a little bit of an easier route to the final in theory. So I'm not going to be heartbroken if we finish sixth, that's for sure.
Yeah. And I was we talked about weather early on this year with the heat and how dry it was at the beginning of the year and just training camp and things of that nature. Now that we're getting towards the point in the year, it's starting to get a little cold outside. It's 30, 40 degrees outside overnight. And have you ever seen teams really kind of up their game when the weather starts getting cold?
Yeah, so that's kind of us. I mean, some of the teams that we play are very South American influenced, so they're flying in August, and then by November they drop because these kids aren't used to 40-degree weather, where we're kind of more Northern European, let's Irish and English and Scottish guys and Scandinavians, so they're used to playing in the mud and a little bit colder conditions. So they're actually excited about playing on grass and mud tonight because it's like their childhood and back home for them. So I'm not excited about sitting 90 minutes in the rain, but that's all that matters for them.
Backyard football. Just keep thinking backyard football when you were a kid. Imagine you're playing your brother. That'll get you fired.
Exactly.
That'll get you fired. Coach, be safe on your trip down to Buchanan tonight. Topper Nation, be sure to tune in and watch them tonight. You can find the game, I believe, on West Virginia Wesleyan's website. Again, 7:30 Wednesday night tonight. Coach, thank you for being here with us, and good luck.
Appreciate it.
Folks, stick around. We'll be right back for more Inside Hilltopper Athletics.
From humble beginnings in 1837, West Liberty University has been home to thousands of students. Whether you're a recent high school graduate or looking to complete a college degree later in life, starting your educational career at West Liberty University will be the catalyst for your future. This is a place where you will discover who you are and where you belong, surrounded by lifelong friends and a supportive faculty and staff. Start your journey home at westliberty.edu.
Welcome back to Inside Hilltopper Athletics, brought to you by Day and Night Heating and Cooling. I am Todd Ollum. With me for this segment, head coach of men's and women's cross country here at West Liberty University, Michael Gwynn. Coach, welcome back.
Thanks for having me.
Well, it's time for the postseason.
Oh yeah,
in cross country.
We're excited. It's been a good season. We're just trying to get healthy at the right time right now. Everybody seems to be bouncing in that direction. Kind of hitting the track side of people now. We've had quite a few illnesses on that side, but for the cross side, everybody seems to be firing okay right now. So, we're excited. Get to go down here close to home, go to Oglebay, get a not really a home course because we don't really get a run on it, but get to go close to home. Don't get to sleep in our own bed, which will be nice, and get down here and see how we can mix it up against the conference schools.
And like usual, we're going to talk course conditions a little bit here. We've had a little bit of rain recently, and the temperature hasn't gotten quite as high as it has been in recent past. So still a little bit of sunshine here and there, but not a ton of heat.
Yeah, well, with it being on that golf course, it drains pretty good. So I don't think we'll have too many. We might have a couple muddy spots here or there, but I mean that's not going to cross country. That's not a big deal. Just if it was torrential downpour and sloppy, that'd be a different story. But I think that the conditions will be good. It was raining a little bit when I was driving in this morning, so I think. If we have to change the size of spikes a little bit, we can do that if we need to. But for the most part, that course is going to drain really well, and I don't think we'll have too many issues.
And again, that's for the Mountain East Conference Championships coming up October 25th. That'll be at Oglebay for the run for men's and women's. Speaking of this, again, we talked, it's kind of postseason now. When you get to this point in the year, for fans at least, and people that watch, maybe not so much for the team or the coaches, you're not quite ready to reflect on things just yet, still in the season. But for us, we think about the seniors. We think about the people that have been around the longest, and this might be some of the last races they get as a Hilltopper, at least for cross country. What can you say about the seniors on both of these squads?
Well, so start with the girls' side. Allie's been, just a huge part of this program. She's a great team leader. She shows up and works hard every practice, every day. She just gives it everything she can. She's really helped take the girls' team under her wing and help be just a leader and very vocal, and it's been a great thing to watch over the season. And on the guys' side, you got Mac, Jasper, and Francis. They're they've put a lot in the last 4 years here on the Hilltop. Max, a sub 15-minute 5K runner on the track. He's ran some really good 10Ks on the track. He's finished well in the region in cross last year. Just excited to see how he does. And then Francis, he's twice, last year indoor and outdoor top 3 in the 800. He's just had a stellar career here. And then Jasper, this has been his best year ever. He's really, really got into the training, kind of found his niche more in the longer distance side of things than he kind of was as a freshman, was kind of up and down. Was he wanted to do the 1500, he wanted to steeple, and he had a shoulder injury, had to have surgery. Now he's really bought into the 5K, 10K training, and it's really, really done him a lot of good. And he's just become a very solid 1, 2, 3 guy for us. Those guys interchange all the time, so they're very they train together all the time. They're very close. They're a tight knit little group there, and they work really hard. And I think that they had to set the tone for us this weekend at this race. If they can go out and mix it up with the other schools, top 1, 2, and 3, then that puts us in a good position to, for our younger guys to follow off that adrenaline and that setting, and then chase after the other teams 3, 4s, and 5s, and then we'll see how it unfolds at the line. I think it's going to be could be a really tight race between 1, 2 are kind of out there, but 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 are all kind of close. I think there's a couple that maybe 3 and 4 you get a little bit more, maybe a little bit ahead of where some people are. But I think we'll be able to mix it up with some of those schools, and it's we'll have to earn it. It's not just set in stone. If we go out there and don't perform, then we're going to get our butts kicked. And if we got to perform, we got a chance to mix it up and place pretty high, or or at least be in the mix with those schools.
And this being your first year as the head coach for cross country and track, with these seniors, you've been around them for a little while though as an assistant as well. Kind of their influence on the younger groups, even this year, the seniors this year, and the influence on the younger runners on the squad.
Yeah, so they went into camp, and they kind of help teach the guys how we train, how we set our weeks up, and things like that. They've done a good job at pacing the workouts and keeping the group together. They're pretty busy with their academics, so they have to fit their runs in at some different times. So it's kind of it stinks a little bit because they're kind of separated from the freshmen on some of the easier days, but they try to get with them as much as they can. Even if it's just for a couple miles here or there on easy days, they're always trying to be there to run with them when they can. But they're just good leaders. They set a good example. You hope the freshmen look up to them and see the way they train, because that's the way that we have to train here if we want to be competitive. And we're learning that a little bit each day, I think. So.
And this time of year, as well, as we head into the Mountain East Conference Championships for cross country, I know even myself, a little bit of congestion, the weather changing, blah blah. Has there been anything like that to deal with the team so far?
We've got allergies, and a couple of them have getting over bronchitis. But it's just it is what it is. This time of the year, everybody's kind of fighting that same thing. I think we're pretty healthy right now heading into it. Knock on wood. Yeah. But just kind of hopefully we can get to Saturday and get out there and get a race in. I didn't really talk about the girls' side as much there, so maybe kind of piggyback back on that a little bit. But on the girls' side, a very young team, right? A lot of freshman girls in the top 5. Four of the top 5 are freshmen, right? So, they're also interchangeable. Allie's been in the top 5 a couple times, and so I feel like with that group, just getting this experience of racing at a championship level and seeing what it's about, is going to be a good thing for them to learn. And then, as we grow as a program, I think that in the next couple of years they can do some really special things.
Well, Coach, I appreciate you taking time out of your day to be with us. Good luck in the Mountain East Conference Championships. I can't wait to talk about them next week.
I appreciate it.
Postseason, these races, the big moments, they're always fun to talk about. I can't imagine kind of the anxiety of everybody going into this MEC championship. But good luck to you, and I can't wait to hear about it.
Thank you so much.
Folks, stick around, and we will be right back for more Inside Hilltopper Athletics.
From the long-lasting and reliable heating and cooling systems we send out the door, to the friendly and knowledgeable dealers who go the extra mile. With a no-hassle replacement limited warranty, you can trust day and night to deliver outstanding service and performance, keeping you a step ahead with advanced technology and exceptional comfort. To find a day and night dealer, visit dayandnightcomfort.com.
From humble beginnings in 1837, West Liberty University has been home to thousands of students. Whether you're a recent high school graduate or looking to complete a college degree later in life, starting your educational career at West Liberty University will be the catalyst for your future. This is a place where you will discover who you are and where you belong, surrounded by lifelong friends and a supportive faculty and staff. Start your journey home at westliberty.edu.
Welcome back to Inside Hilltopper Athletics, brought to you by Day and Night Heating and Cooling. I am Todd Allum. Alongside me for this segment, head coach of women's soccer here at West Liberty University, Pete McMenemy. Coach, welcome back.
Thanks, Todd. Thanks for having me.
Toppers went 1-1 this past week, 2 games since our last show. The first one against Davis and Elkins, not too shabby for the Toppers. 1-0 win in this one. Marissa Nuff gets the goal for the Toppers in the 52nd minute. Early second half goal for her. What was it like going into halftime, tied at 0, and then coming out and get a goal pretty quickly?
Yeah, I think that was one of the points that we made at halftime. I think the first half was, you could kind of tell like both teams were quite cautious, probably a little bit nervous because we knew that both teams kind of had to win the game on Wednesday night. So I think both teams were a little bit cautious in the first half, and we talked about certainly at the beginning of the second half at halftime, like we have to come out pretty quickly and strong. I think we did that, and obviously we get the goal pretty early on in the second half.
Was this game being close as it was, a 1-goal game, a little bit more physical than most, or was it pretty much on par?
No, not particularly. I mean, I think it was just two teams that were pretty evenly matched on the day. I don't think there was a lot to necessarily separate the two teams. There wasn't a lot of chances in the game, but the couple, obviously, the one chance that we get, one of the chances that we get, we take. So we're quite happy with that.
Butera gets the clean sheet again. She seems to have been one of the top performers for the Toppers so far this year in goal. Speak about her a little bit so far this year.
Yeah, I think she's done really well. I think she's been quite unlucky, Cece, with some things that have happened during the season. A lot of good saves. Very good technical goalkeeper. She's improved a lot with her feet this year, which was something that we talked about in the off-season, so she's done a lot better with that. Something that I think in the last 4 or 5 games she's really improved is just that decisive decision-making, knowing when to come out and clean the ball, take the pressure off your back line, knowing when to stay and cut off the angles for players. But yeah, she's done really well. She saved some penalties. She even saved a penalty on the weekend's game. So she's been doing really well.
The Toppers would move on after this 1-0 win against D&E and take on Concord. Concord, a very tough team in this conference as well. The Toppers would fall in this one 5-0. Rough one over the weekend, but are there some positives you can take from this one?
I think in the first half we performed really well, and I think we were frustrating Concord. The 2 first half goals that they get, I mean, no comment on the officiating that leads to those 2 decisions. I don't have anything positive to say, so I'm not going to say anything. And I think that was that kind of stung us a little bit. I think they were a lot stronger in the second half, and they obviously made some adjustments to give them opportunities to score more goals. But the first half we performed really well defensively. We frustrated them. I think at the start of the second half we had to come out a little bit of our shell and try to affect the game a little bit more. I think we did in the early stages, but then we didn't. We weren't able to sustain it across 90 minutes.
The Toppers again would fall in this one. Sienna Butera had 18 saves after facing 43 shots. Not bad for her. The Toppers' next game will be coming up tonight. They're going to host Frostburg State at 7 p.m. at the West Family Athletic Complex. Frostburg State, they seem to be doing pretty well in a lot of sports this year. And what can we expect to see from them in this one?
High energy, enthusiasm, a team that's going to fight for the whole 90 minutes, that's going to be energetic, that's going to put you under pressure. We have to be able to deal with that tonight. I do think that Sometimes, for them it's a little bit tougher playing on the road, and
weather a little bit with Coach Regan as well on the men's side. Getting a little colder nowadays when the sun goes down, and it's going to be tonight. How much does the cold really take effect with your team?
I don't think all that much, to be honest. They'll be wrapped up. They'll have gloves on. They'll have underlayers on, all that sort of stuff for the game. So not particularly. I don't think it's if it's heavy rain and it's as cold as what it is outside, perhaps, and windy and stuff like that. I was at the men's game on Sunday for when they played for Osborg, and the conditions were not great whatsoever. So maybe perhaps in that instance, but I don't think so. Not for tonight's game anyway.
At least no mud anymore.
Yeah.
At the very least.
Yeah.
Also, it is breast cancer awareness game for you tonight. Speak a little bit about that and dealing with women's soccer.
Yeah, I think it's for us. We did something last year with our breast cancer awareness game, and we wanted to do something obviously again this season. I think obviously it's a horrific disease that affects a lot of people. We have some players that have immediate family members that are currently affected or have been currently affected, and then some other family and friend members that are currently being affected by the disease. So we obviously want to honour them tonight, and I think the message certainly that we would like to portray to our team is people are fighting this disease every single day. We got to fight for each other for the opportunity to go play. We're very lucky to get to play the sport that we love. Some people are not as fortunate to enjoy, all the leisure and all the sports that they might enjoy. So tonight is kind of for them, and we want to make sure that we put on a good performance for them.
Well, thank you for that, Coach. Again, Topper Nation, be sure to either watch this game tonight at 7 p.m. At the West Family Athletic Complex. Get up here and do that and support the Toppers as they take on Frostburg State in this one. We've also talked to a few other coaches today. It's getting towards that end of the time of the year for fall sports where we're getting closer to the postseason, the end of the regular season. Talk about your seniors and how they've kind of really helped out with the younger players.
Yeah, I think we have 7 seniors this year who have been with the program since certainly that I've been here, even back when I was assistant coach. So to kind of see them grow into that leadership role and just not only improve as players, but all just grow as people, it's been really good to see. So I think that they've done a good job of mentoring the younger players, showing them what it takes to be a part of this program, showing them what the standards and how we want to do things with this program going forward. So they've been very, very good at educating the players, and I think a lot of our younger players obviously have had a lot of opportunities this year. We're quite a young team, but I think our senior players, the lessons that the senior players have taught the younger players, I think will stand them in good stead for sure moving forward.
Well, Coach, I thank you for taking time out of your day to be with us today. Good luck tonight. Again, Topper Nation, tonight, Wednesday, 7 p.m., West Family Athletic Complex. You're going to watch the Toppers take on Frostburg State in women's soccer. Be sure to get up here and support their breast cancer awareness game. It's also homecoming week, so come and visit the campus. Again, Coach, good luck.
Thank you.
Thank you for
Appreciate
being
it,
with us. Folks, stick around. We will be right back.
From humble beginnings in 1837, West Liberty University has been home to thousands of students. Whether you're a recent high school graduate or looking to complete a college degree later in life, starting your educational career at West Liberty University will be the catalyst for your future. This is a place where you will discover who you are and where you belong, surrounded by lifelong friends and a supportive faculty and staff. Start your journey home at westliberty.edu.
Welcome back to Inside Hilltopper Athletics. I am Todd Allum. This show is brought to you by Day and Night Heating and Cooling. The women's volleyball segment is now. The head coach is with us, Mackenzie Johnson, just her second season as head coach. Welcome back to the show.
Yeah, thanks for having me. It's been an exciting week.
It absolutely has. 3 matches since the last time we recorded a show. The Toppers are 3-0 in those 3 matches, but also haven't lost a single set since the last show either, not just game. Incredible run as we're doing right now.
Yeah, I think for us, it's good to see us, peaking at the right moments and showing up against opponents that we know we can. So, obviously we like to win, but sweeps are even better because we get to get home earlier.
Well, this first match against Wheeling was here at the ASRC. The Toppers won straight sets, 27-25, 25-18, and 27-25 again. The bookending sets, pretty difficult against Wheeling, but your Toppers found a way.
Yeah, I think just the grittiness. I think obviously in this past week or two, we've really been focusing, on our block and having a little bit more of a blocking presence, defensively. But they came out and, that's the most fiery start to a match I think we've had all season. So it's good that it happened now.
Yeah, in this one, it was incredible. By the end of it, Kudnick led all players with 18 kills and 14 digs. Kenny, 45 assists. She had 14 kills as well. 9 kills for McAtee, along with 3 blocks in the win. Not too shabby against Wheeling. Against a squad like that, your team had to be feeling pretty good after the win.
Yeah, I think for us, it's kind of like I said last week. It's just our hard work is starting to pay off, and I think that they are starting to prove to themselves what they're capable of doing and what the rest of the season can look like for us. So I think it's coming at the right times. The wins are coming at the right times, but it's not just for nothing. We've been working really hard in our gym.
Yeah, and I mean, it's obvious that you are, the way the rest of the week went. Every once in a while, you see teams get a big victory over a big rival. Not just a rival, but a rival that also wins a lot. Maybe there's sometimes a letdown afterwards because you're still riding the high of the previous game. Not these Toppers. They went on to face D&E. Once again, it was a straight sweep. Didn't lose a set, 25-20, 25-4, and 25-12. It seemed like that first set was a nice little back and forth between the two squads, and after that, the Toppers just took over.
Yeah, I think it was just going back to controlling what we can control. I always tell them we got to stay aggressive on the service line. That's, one of the strengths in our game. That's part of our team identity. So, once we kind of found our confidence back there on the service line, everything else kind of fell into place for the rest of that match.
Yeah, it was just tremendous for the Toppers. It's great to see them moving along, and to get that victory in the fashion that it was done after beating Wheeling really had to be a big boost for you and the rest of the coaching staff, knowing like, hey, this wasn't just we were up for one big game against our rival and take a step back. No, you just took another step forward.
Yeah, I think that's the biggest thing. As I always tell them, every week we're 0-0. We're starting over every day. We haven't really won the day. We got to earn our wins in practices and things like that to kind of remember, or kind of get them to remember and remind them that this season is far from over if we continue to work hard in practices.
And then we moved to West Virginia Wesley in the third and final match of the week. The Toppers would win 3 straight sets once again, 25-12, 25-16, and 29-27. This kind of seemed like the opposite of Concord, where Wesleyan started coming back a little bit towards the end.
Yeah, I think for sure, like I told them, Wesleyan's a great team. They're a great group, and they're really gritty just like us, and they know how to fight. The night before, they had just swept Wheeling, so we knew that, no matter how we showed up, they weren't going to back down, and that was the biggest thing that I was telling them in between the sets is, we got to continue to play to our identity and play to our strengths, exploit their weaknesses, because they are a team that can adjust and they are a team that can, come in and take a set from us if they want to.
Absolutely so. Again, these Toppers did a tremendous job throughout this entire week. The Toppers are now number 1 in the Mountain East Conference Northern Division, taking over for Wheeling. The Toppers now have to go on the road for 3 straight matches. Friday at Glenville State, and then Saturday at Concord. I don't want you to get too far ahead of the game here and talk about Concord, but for Glenville State, what can we expect to see from the Pioneers?
Yeah, I think they're a team that's very similar to like a West Virginia Wesleyan. They have some good hitters. They put up some good blocks, but I think our serve and pass can kind of maybe outweigh them a little bit there. But they're a consistent team, and we scrimmaged them in August in one of our preseason scrimmages, and they've got a good group, and I think their coach is on her second or third season, so she's bringing in in kids that kind of fit to her culture. And, they're a program that continues to get better, and they're taking sets from teams. So they're by no means, the Glenville that maybe we played 5 years ago. They're definitely, a better Glenville, and they're a little bit more competitive. So it's definitely not a team that we're going to take lightly on Friday.
And for the folks at home, I'm not going to ask Coach to comment on this at all. Fans and the like can think ahead a little bit. Concord is number 2 in the South Division in the Mountain East Conference, so that'll be a fun game to watch on Saturday as well. Coach, we'll stick with just Glenville State. Another accomplishment for the Toppers, junior Dakota Kenny was named Mountain East Conference Offensive Player of the Week for women's volleyball. She had a tremendous week.
She's awesome. She's a great kid, but, I think that especially these past 2 weeks, we've, suffered an injury within our setter position, and she has, kind of stepped up in that leadership role right away, no questions asked. And, she was a player who ran a 5-1 her freshman year. She broke the, I think it was like the assist record for a single season her freshman year. So it's definitely something that she's used to doing, definitely something that she feels confident doing. But, she's had the opportunity to lead our offense, and I think it just pays off. I think she got somewhere close to like 200 assists in 5 matches, which is absolutely insane.
Yeah.
If you kind of look at that as like, in basketball, your point guard is getting assists and stuff like that. But, she's a great kid. She's a great leader. And, I think the consistency on the court, she deserves that award. So I'm glad she was able to earn that this week.
Yeah, so far on the year for Dakota, through 76 sets so far, she has 515 assists, 182 digs, 37 kills, 17 service aces. She's done a very good job. You talked about her leadership. Also, some other milestones for her and Bella Dart. For Dakota Kenny, 2,000 assists in her career. That's an unbelievable number.
Yeah, she's itching to get that, break the record for the, most in a career. So I definitely think, whether it's the end of this season and the next season, she's going to get there. But that she's a kid that doesn't ever really care about stats. Obviously, like, as coaches, we try to put numerical value on goals and things like that. But, she's a kid who just wants to win and puts her teammates in the position to be successful. And I think that, just goes to show a lot about her selflessness and, like, willing to do what's best for the team.
Bella Dart also got 1,000 digs for her career. Great job for that young lady as well.
Yeah, like I think I said this in one of our post games earlier this week, or I guess last week. But she's a great kid. She's grown in so many ways, confidence-wise on the court, and this was a goal of hers going into last season. So it was kind of long-awaited, and it's well-deserved. And she's done a great job leading our back row, and being confident and showing leadership in our back row and things of that nature. And she's adaptable, and she's all the best things that you would want in a libero.
And it's great to see the kids putting up numbers, and you see it across a lot of sports, but players that have the talent and ability to put up numbers like that, but the ones that don't care and just keep doing it because, hey, that's how we win. I don't really care what the numbers are. I am that talented and skilled, but it doesn't matter to me. I just want to win. It's great to see that.
Yeah, I think girls like that and athletes like that are, pretty crucial when it comes to team sports and the culture that we're trying to, build here and things like that. So, our hard work's paying off. We're doing all the right things, and, we got the right people in our gym.
Well, Coach, again, thank you for being on the show with us. A great week last week. The Toppers just continue to build, and it's not surprising to see. Again, they've got the Toppers travel to Glenville State on Friday to take on the Pioneers, and then Saturday they go to Concord. So be safe and good luck on those trips.
Thank
you for being with us, folks at home. Also, this weekend coming up on West Liberty's campus, we've got homecoming. We'd like to thank the Alpha Tavern for being the homecoming game sponsor, the official one, on October 24th, West Liberty Alumni Homecoming Pre-Party. Happy hour from 5 to 8 p.m. At the Alpha, then entertainment at 9 p.m., a prime rib dinner special on the 24th and 25th. On the 25th, happy hour once again, 5 to 8, entertainment at 8:30, and then the 26th will be the Topper Brunch from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. So be sure you get down there and enjoy all the festivities down at the Alpha Tavern. Again, Coach, thank you for being with us. We'll see you next week. Good luck. Folks at home, thank you for watching. We will see you on another edition of Inside Hilltopper Athletics.
From the long-lasting and reliable heating and cooling systems we send out the door, to the friendly and knowledgeable dealers who go the extra mile. With a no-hassle replacement limited warranty, you can trust day and night to deliver outstanding service and performance. keeping you a step ahead with advanced technology and exceptional comfort. To find a day and night dealer, visit dayandnightcomfort.com.